President Joe Biden is meeting China's leader Xi Jinping in person for the first time since taking office. The talks are taking place on the Indonesian island of Bali, ahead of the annual G20 summit of leaders from the world's leading economies. Relations between the two nations are poor. The talks come amid rising tension over Taiwan, a self-governing democracy that China claims it is its territory and has vowed to reunify by force if necessary. The war in Ukraine will also feature in the two-hour talks. Mr. Biden is expected to push China to rein in ally North Korea after a record-breaking spate of missile tests.
We spent a lot of time together back in the days when we were both vice presidents, and it's just great to see you. And you and I have had a number of candid and useful conversations over the years, and since I became president as well. You're kind enough to call me to congratulate me, and I congratulate you as well. And I believe there's a little substitute, though, to face-to-face discussions. And as you know, I'm committed to keeping the lines of communications open between you and me personally, but our governments across the board, because our two countries have so much that we have an opportunity to deal with. As the leaders of our two nations, we share responsibility, in my view, to show that China and the United States can manage our differences, prevent competition from becoming anything ever near conflict, and to find ways to work together on urgent global issues that require our mutual cooperation. And I believe this is critical for the sake of our two countries and the international community. This was a key to the theme of the COP27 meeting, where I spoke on Friday, and we'll be discussing a lot of these challenges together, I hope, in the next couple hours. And the world expects, I believe, China and the United States to play key roles in addressing global challenges from climate changes to food insecurity, and for us to be able to work together. The United States stands ready to do just that, work with you if that's what you desire. So President Xi, I look forward to our continuing and ongoing open and honest dialogue we've always had, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Well, since you assumed the presidency, we have maintained communication via video conferences, phone calls, and letters. But none of them can really substitute for face-to-face exchanges. Currently, the China-US relationship is in such a situation that we all care a lot about it, because this is not the fundamental interest of our two countries and peoples, and it is not what the international community expects us. As leaders of the two major countries, we need to chart the right course for the China-US relationship. We need to find the right direction for the bilateral relationship going forward and elevate the relationship.
Vice Chief Correspondent John Cookson is monitoring that meeting, and he joins us now from London. Thanks so much for joining us on Newsday. Now, how significant is this meeting between Presidents Biden and Xi?
Well, of course, they're the leaders of the world's two superpowers, so to that extent it's extremely significant and historic in its own way. It's the first face-to-face meeting between Biden and Xi, and although there were smiles over the conference table there, and a lot of handshaking and bonhomie, if you like, there are real tensions behind the scenes. The US very worried about Chinese military intentions in the Pacific, and not least the threats by the Chinese to retake Taiwan, which the Chinese regard as Chinese territory and have been trying to get back for years since Taiwan broke away. So there are some real fences to be mended there. Biden perhaps on the back foot slightly after Nancy Pelosi's historic and controversial visit to Taiwan in October, which really upset the Chinese and sparked the Chinese to carry out war games in the region. So there's a lot of ground to make up. Biden, though, of course, needs Xi's help on two key issues, not least North Korea. Biden wants Xi to lean on the leader of North Korea, Kim Jong-un, to rein in his testing of rockets and a possible nuclear program. A record number of North Korean rockets have been fired over countries, including Japan, in recent months, and it's all very worrying and raises tensions in the region, not least for South Korea and Japan. Biden also needs Xi's help with Putin. Putin and Xi are allies of sorts. Xi has already said that he doesn't agree with the use of nuclear weapons in Eastern Europe, as Putin has threatened to use. So at least Biden knows that Xi is on his side as regards to escalating the conflict at the moment. So a tricky diplomatic scenario being played out in Bali at the moment. President Xi very much the man really in the driving seat. He's 69 years old, just has himself re-elected for the third time as Communist Party leader. He's going to be around for the next 10, 15 years or so. Joe Biden, on the other hand, 79 years old, 80 years old, next week, in charge of a party which is about to lose its control of the House of Representatives. So there's an imbalance here in the political strength of both leaders. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of the communique following this meeting.
All right, talk to me. Who else is Xi Jinping meeting in the 2 days G20 summit?
Well, a big, really is important meeting for that region is meeting with Prime Minister Albanese of Australia. That meeting still to take place. The relations between Canberra and Beijing not good at the moment. They had the two nations had something of a falling out over COVID and the spread of COVID in the region back in 2019, 2020. So there's more fence mending to go on there. On the other hand, despite the rancor between the two countries, China is Australia's biggest trading partner. So it's a key relationship that both sides, I think, will make every effort to secure. Xi also will meet with President Macron of France during the G20 summit. Macron trying to warm relations between the European Union and Beijing, which have soured of late, but Macron also will press Xi to help with trying to influence Putin over the war in Ukraine. On Thursday, President Xi, away from G20, will meet with the Japanese Prime Minister at an APEC summit in Bangkok on Thursday.
Oh, John, there are reports Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov has been involved in a health scare since he arrived in Bali. What more can you tell us?
Yes, well, Lavrov arrived, the foreign minister, on behalf of his master, President Putin, on Sunday night, and apparently he was rushed to hospital. That is not being denied by the Russians. What is being denied by the Russians is the fact that Lavrov had some kind of heart complaint. Now, he's issued a Twitter feed this morning, not denying that he wasn't in hospital, but denying that he has serious heart issues. And in the Twitter video, you can see him laughing and joking and almost incredulous to the suggestion that there might be something wrong with his heart. He's been foreign minister since 2004 and had a punishing round of meetings all over the world as he takes much of the flak for Putin's actions in Ukraine. So he's under a lot of pressure at Bali, but apparently he's fit and well, according to him. And he laughed off suggestions that there's anything wrong with his ticker. But the Balinese are saying that he was admitted to hospital for a heart condition.
All right, then, thank you very much for your time. John Cookson, have yourself a lovely day.